Made this map one day, sees my map intro for it and just laughs because they'll know like how not serious it's supposed to be. But yeah, this is game number 2 in this best of 3 semifinals. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Go for StarCraft monthly finals for January. I am Rifkin, joined today by Zombie Grub, and there's 600 euro up for grabs, 300 for first place, 150 for second, but of course we're not quite there yet. One of these guys will go on to fight the winner of Ghost versus Dana. So PVZ in the top half of the brackets versus TVZ down here. We'll see what the finale ends up being. Without further ado, though, spawning in the lower right corner of the map. He's blue, he's Terran, he's from My Insanity, Jjakji.
In the upper left, as the green Zerg, it is Ignitas TEFEL.
And side note, we're getting pretty close to that goal we set out earlier, guys. I do want to remind you, I'll bundle up all these replays nice and tidy, and we'll make them all public if we can hit that 3K mark today. We're about 2.5K right now. Get on Twitter, tweet about this match, tell your friends, and if for nothing else, the finals, to make sure that people know to come hang out and check out what's going on. Because Jjakji versus TEFEL, game 1 was very interesting to say the least. I'm really curious to see how TEFEL approaches the second one. It sounds silly because, like, most of the time you're like, look, it's gonna be the Zerg player reacting to what the Terran player does, right? Like, that's how just in the game Zerg is designed. But I kind of feel like it's the opposite way around when it comes to Jjakji. Like, he's like that last game, he was making like 5 Marauders at a time so early on. The point of catching like your opponent off guard with Ultralisks is because they don't have those 5 tech labs on the barracks, because they're making like 18 Marines and only can make 1 Marauder at a time. That's where a lot of the strength comes from. But Jjakji had no problem saying, you know what? Let's get tech labs up. Let's get Marauders going. Let's react to your Ultralisks.
Yeah. And, you know, even though he was producing a few just because there was roaches, he did have still have to buy time, and that's what the drops were primarily doing. You know, it was very like cutting edge, you know, in the timing that TEFEL decided to attack and whether or not Jjakji would have the production of Marauders to defend. You know, you really got to instantaneously like react to seeing Ultralisk and like swap them over to the tech labs. You were in trouble. I wonder if TEFEL's going to do something like that again, though. I feel like that was map specific. Of course, this map being way different than Frost. He might... I wonder how good like a Roach Hydra is going to be on this map.
Well, I like that Jjakji's going for the Reaper. Again, I do want to remind everybody the top to bottom distances on this map is actually incredibly short. It just looks big because of how wide it is, but with the Reaper coming across the map, he's going to get scouting. I like that he's actually going for scouting this time, though, not playing it blind, because, of course, for a player like TEFEL, it's really scary to get caught off guard by him, and I'm so glad he didn't go for another hit. He wanted to. I saw him go for it, but, of course, yeah, with a little bit of health missing there, it's just a little bit dangerous.
Did you get a second Reaper? Yeah, he did. It's on the way. I'll be able to take down a few drones. Do we have a gas for TEFEL? No gas. Jjakji will be wanting to scout that to know when to pull back those Reapers, or if he even has to, which he will not. Maybe get a few drones too. Oh, the drones! The drones trying to help out.
He kind of had to pull them though. He didn't go for Lings. You know, typically you've got 4 Lings coming out right now, and TEFEL's opted not to do that for some reason. Stylistic choice, like stubbornness, mistake. I don't know.
By now, having to cancel, like, build cancel all of that, the 4 Lings would have made up for it, you know? Like, yeah. I don't want to do the math right now, but that was a lot lost in the build cancels.
I'm surprised he's still not making Lings. Like, yeah, this is really stubborn out of TEFEL, but if he can get away with it, this is a huge drone lead early on. But, I don't know, like, that's a lot to possibly lose. Like, can you imagine if Jjakji come across with a 3rd Reaper? I mean, starts picking up Queens and still no freaking Zerglings? Like,
I guess you're guaranteed to lose like 2 drones anyways to a 2 Reaper attack. So the fact that he only lost 2, but also saved 2 by making Lings, like, this does put him in a better position. And he lost the 3rd one. Well.
Yeah, still low from earlier. Had not quite recovered that HP just yet, but Roach weren't on the way, so I guess he's going to be getting those in lieu of Zerglings plus speed. That'll work for the Hellions, I guess. I mean, it's such a risky way to open, but I guess it'll pay off a little bit better here in the mid game. I don't know. I still think he should have just gone for Lings, even if they weren't like speed.
Well, it's not game changing for sure. Maybe gives Jjakji a little bit more of a mental up, but I don't know. 3 Roaches. Maybe that's where he's gonna stop, and it's just gonna be to, you know, bridge that gap between the 3rd and the natural to make sure the Hellions don't you know, deal more damage than they should. Actually, no, an early lair is going to come down. Is this what he did last time? No, this is what the last. Sorry, no, never mind. Different series, but be interesting to see what he plans on doing with this.
Oh, gotta keep that drone alive for that third base. This poor little drone just wants to get that hatchery down. We'll be blocked out again. Oh no, gets it down just barely.
Should have blocked it, then he would have guaranteed gotten that drone.
It's kind of amazing too, just how strong 3 roaches can be. Like, you got to consider how much they are warding off. Like, again, it's the assistance of a couple of queens if necessary, but 6 more roaches on the way. Now, if TEFEL actually goes for like a Roach Hydra, and you kind of talked a little bit at the start of the game, this might not be the best map for it as far as like maneuverability goes, but as far as a straight shot from his base to Jjakji's, he can get there really quick to reinforce, so it might not be too bad of an idea, especially if it comes to knocking down Jjakji's third, which is always going to be exposed.
What is this lair for? He gets an overseer. That's gonna be good scouting, I suppose.
He took all the gases, but I can't imagine this to be Mutalisks. Not opening with roaches and going for double evolution chambers. I mean,
yeah, I don't
this.
Think
right,
I guess
like
to get early roach speed.
I guess I could see that maybe, but like, if this was like, okay, so for those who are like questioning my thought process here, like if you get evolution chambers at the wall, that's fine, then you just get those. But he made those afterwards on purpose, so he's going for upgrades, and yep, there we go, ranged weapons.
Yeah, so it is going to be Roach Hydra most likely, although you can stick on roaches, but I don't think they're that good. As good anyways.
You know, small throwback here, Fire Cake, if you remember his Viper control when he was playing against Avilo, I know that was versus Mech and it's like a different scenario, but like if TEFEL has some good like Viper control combined with Roach Hydra, this is something that is incredibly deadly TVZ.
Well, I think Jjakji's now definitely identified what's going on. He's not going to prepare for an all-in. Not yet, anyways. Like, what TEFEL should do is that when he gets up to pretty much, I think almost max is when you attack, actually, but pretty much 2-2 with Roach Hydra, and you attack into your opponent. They don't have 2-2 a lot of the time. Well, that's why I'm weirded out by the late, or what I think is late Evo chambers. Anyways, that's an attack that's very, very powerful that Terran sometimes do have trouble with, and that's what you've been talking about. TEFEL's attack actually beating Jjakji's when he just does stuff like this.
I'm a little bit shocked that Reaper's still been able to poke in and out by the
right?
Just side note to what's been going on here. But yeah, the Hydralisks are on the way, and basically, for those who have never really, because this is not exactly the most common composition in TVZ, but it's still a viable one. Hydralisks have so much damage. I mean, the recent roaches lose out to Stim Marines because they attack so slow. They hit hard, they get a lot of health, and they're cheap, but they attack so slow in comparison. They just can't keep up with that rate of fire. Hydralisks, complete polar opposites. They attack like they're a crack all the time. They don't have a lot of health, but they add a lot of damage. Now, TEFEL coming across without the Hydralisks initially, I'm not sure I like this. I kind of think he needs to wait for them.
Yeah, he also needs to wait for 1-1 to finish. That is why he's attacking.
Trying to get in the fight, they don't have the roaches to buffer for them. Getting involved just a little bit too late, but looks like they will come into the fight. Will this be enough to drive Jjakji back? And looks like, yeah, the overwhelming amount of Hydralisks that come from behind. Gonna force an SCV pull here at the third.
You know, I don't think Jjakji expected it so soon. He probably thought he had more time and that he was going to be okay. Because, you know, if he identifies this, you have to go down bunkers and maybe even start, you know, thinking about tanks.
It's so hard to get tanks out, though. I mean, if you don't go for them, too, from the get-go, the production is going to be so slow to get them out in time to deal with this. But tanks are a great way to drive this back. But looks like between some Marauders, good control, and a couple more SCVs to be pulled. I mean, TEFEL's got 21 workers so far.
That's pretty nice. I'm not sure it's quite... Jjakji can come back from this, because this is the thing. If he pushes this back, he gets the Hydralisk kills guaranteed. There's no running away from him. Plus, he's going to be able to have a lot of mobility. Like, once he gets TEFEL off his back, pretty much, he can start loading up and dropping everywhere.
With slowlings? No metabolicers. I mean, these are going to be great cannon fodder, right? But that's it. Like, that's it, cannon fodder. They're not going to be able to really connect. It's going to be hard to get in there. Reinforcing across the map is going to be slow, tedious. I would really also have liked if he had started, like, you know, acting like these were stalkers and focusing the medevacs maybe, but just kind of moving into this composition again. We got the Zerglings just throwing their lives away for the sake of the Hydralisks. But, yeah, these slowlings are not... God, does he know he doesn't have metabolic boost? He's got to know this. Like, that's an on-purpose... He purposely didn't get it so he could get these out faster, but...
It's for sure. I mean, he just wants something that's a cannon fodder that's less expensive than roaches, you know? And I'm going to be interested to see if it really helps out. This is something, you know, Ling Hydra is something you see against Protoss. I mean, maybe it works against Terran too, maybe in desperate situations. I don't think this is quite desperate yet, but, you know, each attack is really important as to who it goes into favor for. Because so far, I feel like Jjakji's coming back with each and every attack, and this is going to be really important. Yeah. How many Hydras will go down? Will they actually be able to out-DPS the Terran army?
It was actually kind of scary, though, is with all these Marauders, he's trying to kite the Hydralisk, but it's, of course, the Marine DPS he really needs in this. Marauders are nice, but against Hydralisk, they don't really contend in like an A move versus A move clash.
Yeah, I don't think TEFEL should really go for the command center. Oh, he's gonna get it!
Get it! Wow, that ends up working.
That wasn't enough SCVs because he killed so many that they weren't even mass repair.
Jjakji's losing more behind this.
Well, you know, actually, even if he loses the command center, the counterattack's going to be so strong. He's got to take down a good chunk of the army as well.
These There's still a lot of Marauders. I think if TEFEL just had like a little bit more with no healing going on, he could have just completely wiped this out. Here come the reinforcements. Will this be enough? I mean, the medevacs, I can't believe they've been living through this. Again, like, this is kind of a scenario where I wish he had been maybe like, even if it was like just 4 Hydras segmented out to shift click and like rally on these. I mean,
here comes a very important part, all right? 2-2 was about to finish for Jjakji. TEFEL neglected to get those upgrades. This was really an attack that was supposed to end the game. No force, no upgrades, no advanced tech at all. If he loses this chunk of army, I feel like the counterattack's actually going to be too hard to stop, and Jjakji will win this game. In fact, it's happening right now. This army's going to get obliterated.
That 2-2 kicking in, we can see it making such a big difference. I mean, Jjakji's been fighting with the same slow, small handful of units this whole time, but finally actually beats TEFEL back. Now, while he's got to reestablish his third, he's not, I don't know, neither player's exactly near max. They're both hovering in the same supply. The difference is for TEFEL, of course, Hydralisks are going to be a little bit more efficient as far as damage goes, but he needs more buffer for them. And
yeah,
so
and he doesn't... Those upgrades are so important. Like 2-2 on Roach Hydra is really, really good, and you usually you want it when they don't have 2-2. But now it's the reverse situation, and Jjakji should not get into this concave. He should actually just lift up and try other avenues.
There we go.
Of
now
attack.
focusing on medevacs. Finally, is TEFEL going to start taking out these critical units?
Yeah, a good boost actually gets in the way though. Well, actually, Jjakji can't take this fight. Once the roaches are gone, you know you're in a pretty good situation. I guess he doesn't have enough units to do it right now, but with the reinforcements, it's going to be enough. I really would have preferred that he'd gone for like drops though. Honestly, instead of attacking head on, probably thinking he has a more of a chance to counterattack than he did.
I think a lot of that too. Well, if he had gone for drops, though, he wouldn't have been able to make sure that TEFEL wasn't coming across the map. Like if he had segmented his army off, like the biggest thing Jjakji is scared about is losing his third again, of course. But for TEFEL, I was kind of like, I don't kind of bitching about it in the background, but like picking off those medevacs was huge because even though they didn't have a lot of energy, every Marauder basically had like a personal healer for the last like 5 minutes, which is what made it so unbreakable.
Yeah. Oh, I really like that he's repairing his medevacs, realizing that a lot of the strength of a bio versus Roach Hydra army is the medevacs. And of course, if TEFEL had a game plan behind this and got like an Infestation Pit, for example, they would be like even more important to have that healing through the fungals, which is a common follow-up. Although TEFEL, he's not quite thinking about a follow-up. He's still thinking like, let me survive and maybe get a fourth.
So it's weird to consider, like at this point, okay, he's gonna lose his fourth. Actually, that kind of sucks. No cancel on it either. You might start thinking like, okay, TEFEL didn't win the game with that game-ending move, but the thing is as deadly as that was, working off of 3 bases, that's not your super like all-in like I win or I lose in this one attack move. As we see, he's still trying to get those upgrades up behind it. He's still got a lot of production, but as the game moves on, Jjakji's going to be on 3-3, and TEFEL's going to barely be on 2-2, and that's no matter how you paint that picture, it's going to be rough to contend with.
Yeah. I don't want to say it's either player's advantage, but I really want to say it's or either player's game to win. But I want to say Jjakji has an advantage.
I kind of want to see, like, I don't know, definitely not Swarm Us. Those would be terrible for this scenario. But I'd like to see either move up and start getting some Infestors combined with this, or go for the Hive and get Viper. If not for the Hive, at least for the 3-3, if nothing else. Because Blinding Cloud would work wonders in these engagements, too. I mean, Bio's going to try and stim out of it, but that's a lot of lost DPS you have to spend moving out of a Blinding Cloud.
Yeah, and Infestors I think would be a really good thing. These Hydralisk, I mean, God, his supply is so high, but it's all in Hydralisk, and they are not good without support. I mean, the Lings don't kind of support anymore either, TEFEL. I don't think they're going to be too useful now.
No, definitely not. As I said, this medevac count is out of control with what is a 15 medevacs. It's why TEFEL's having such a hard time breaking this.
Yeah, I just thought the entire Hydralisk army, maybe he survives a bit longer with like some Roaches mixed in too, but just Hydralisk, it is going to be Jjakji's game to win. It was very, very close in those first stages, but Jjakji pulls through.
Yeah, just since we're at the end of the game here pretty much, I'm thinking on this, you know what would be really dirty? Freaking Blinding Clouds combined with a Fungal Growth.
Those are always the dirtiest thing in the
I know,
world.
like if he had that in this game, like that could have been like an easy win, but not that he had the economy to really go for that or the army supply. Anyways, good game will be called. Jjakji will take it 2-0 and move on to the grand finals, where he'll be fighting against the winner of Ghost versus Dana. So he'll either have a ZVT or TVP, one or the other. Of course, Dana is his teammate, so always gotta be reluctant when you fight teammates and such.